He wants to buy Greenland. Yes. Yeah, sure. Buy. Invade. Whatever. He said he wants to invade. He did not say that. Okay, just to be sure. He said he definitely won't use military force to gain control of Greenland. No, I am confused. He said he wouldn't say he would rule out military or economic pressure on Greenland or Panama. Panama? Because of the canal. The Panama Canal? That's the one. Don't you have a treaty about that? But like, who cares about treaties? Who cares about global diplomacy? Global diplomacy isn't about treaties. It's about letting people know that you're not here to make friends, you have nukes, and you aren't afraid to use them. You should be very afraid of using those. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, actually. Also, not owning Greenland. You're afraid of not owning Greenland? So Greenland is necessary for our national security, and by extension, the national security of the entire free nation world, whatever, as well. Denmark should want us to have it. Same with the Panama Canal. We need it. Everybody's talking about it. Maybe Canada too. You're gonna invade Canada? I was mostly joking about Canada. Only mostly though. That border is essentially made up anyway. Okay, I'm gonna schedule you for a seminar on treaties. What? We need a 51st state. That's my goal for Q1, okay? I'm setting goals. A 51st state? Are you thinking like Puerto Rico? Ew, no. Also, no more windmills. Windmills? Yeah. They're driving the whales crazy. It looks like you have a payroll issue. I don't have any issues, actually. Who said I have issues? Well, you are both freezing and on fire right now. Okay. Anyway, I just took a look at your books, and about 1,000 of those people that you have fighting your fires seem to be criminally underpaid. That's because they're criminals. What? They're not firefighters. They're incarcerated firefighters. Are they fighting fires? Yes. They are. And you're not paying them? We are paying them almost $30 a day, which is very generous. If you think about it, considering that Californians just recently voted not to make it illegal to enslave prisoners. $30 to risk your life. Almost $30 per day. For what, like a 12-hour shift? One day, 24 hours. So we're talking $1 an hour. Essentially. Like I said, very generous. Would you be willing to risk your life for $1 an hour? I would never get caught committing a crime. You commit crimes all the time. That's like your favorite thing. I said I would never get caught. How much are you paying the standard firefighters? Their salaries start at $85,000 a year. Okay, so the people you're exploiting now, when they graduate, when they finish prison, they start making $85,000 a year with benefits. It's like a regular full-time job. Well, yeah. I mean, some of them, you have to pass a background check to become a firefighter. So they're firefighters now. They're incarcerated firefighters now. How's his first week going? Yeah, it's totally going. Are eggs cheaper? What? Eggs? That was one of his big things, right? Everything getting immediately way cheaper. That depends. Are you referring to what he said on the campaign trail or in time? So you're saying he doesn't have a plan to deal with inflation? Oh, he has a plan. What is it? What's his plan? He told his department heads to fix it. That doesn't sound like a plan. That sounds like an empty directive. No, it's a plan. It counts. That one counts. Do you know what the word plan means? He's ending remote work, you know. Back to office we go. So he's not going to be golfing in Florida this term? What? Well, he spent almost a year out of his first 4 years as president golfing, but you're saying that's not going to happen this time? He's going to be in his office working? Oh, okay. We're not talking about him. We're talking about federal employees. What do you think the president is? He's the head of the executive, judiciary, and legislative branches. Okay, wrong. That's wrong. The president is head of just the executive branch, but they are also a federal employee, is what I was going for. Yeah, that's not allowed anymore. What's not allowed? The word they or them? Those words hurt women. Do you really think people are gonna believe that? People already believe that. Okay, look, freeze. What? We're freezing all government hiring except for cop-like jobs. We're gonna need those people for the largest mass deportation in the history of deportations. I thought you were trying to make things cheaper. We are. In fact, he commanded it to be so. You think that getting rid of people who provide cheap labor, pay taxes, and don't get federal benefits is gonna make things less expensive? Yes. Apparently, Yes. We're also not letting any more refugees in. We're pausing that pause. Pause. What about the ones who'd already been cleared to enter? Especially them. Those ones. Nobody else comes in, okay? I thought he said he was for legal immigration. Isn't that how his wife got here? Elon is not his wife. That's immature. You're being immature. I was talking about Melania. Oh. But speaking of Elon, it was an awkward gesture. That's all it was. I think the fact that you went right there means you know that it wasn't. Okay. Have you heard about the Gulf of America yet? I heard he's asking people to report on their coworkers. Very Orwellian. He's solving racism, okay? A very serious issue, which, as you know, primarily affects white men. I see you're doing a lot of firing. You're fired. Seriously, though, we just saved everyone $1,000 million bajillion $100. That number sounds made up. How'd you get there? First, we told everyone that they could quit and we'll pay them till September 30th. You did that to save money? Yeah. How many people took you up on the offer? Like 75,000. So a bunch of people didn't think you would pay out? No. I don't know why they would think that. Maybe because of the Elon of it all. He is a legal immigrant. He is legally allowed to be here. You sound ignorant. What did I say? He's a naturalized citizen. Get over it. By way of an illegally used student visa, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the people you're letting him fire. He's not really in charge of anything. He's limiting his own power and he's great at it. Anyway, there's a lot of people that we can and have and will continue to fire. You're welcome. Like the people handling the bird flu at the Department of Agriculture. No, we didn't fire those guys, did we? You sure did. Well, then they are unfired. I declare them. Everybody, they're unfired. What about the people managing your nuclear weapons? Are you gonna get them back too? If we can figure out how to get in touch with them, then yeah, for sure. You haven't involved HR? Why would we do that? You know, it's not just firing. We've done some hiring too. Right. I saw you got the talking news head with the drinking problem for defense. Well, he said he'd stop drinking if we hired him. Not before, after, if he's hired. Has he stopped then, since he's been hired? I assume. So you've never known an alcoholic personally. Is that it? Did you see we got a bona fide Kennedy for Health and Human Services? Have you seen what the other Kennedys have to say about him? Well, they're gonna feel silly when he makes America healthy again by bringing back polio. Okay, you're gonna love this one, right? Hear me out. We have a black guy for housing and urban development. How did you know? Lucky guess. How about a lady mogul? A lady mogul? A wrestling billionaire, but she's a girl. Did she allegedly enable the abuse of children by a staff member at her company? The important thing is that she's a girl boss, a lady boss, and she's a girl, and don't you want her to run the Department of Education? I thought you guys were trying to get rid of that. You think we should get rid of the IRS? What? Isn't that what you said? We should get rid of the IRS? That's what I heard. You're trying to balance your budget and you want to dismantle the Internal Revenue Service? Long live the king. The king? The king. The president. It's same thing. Those are actually specifically supposed to be very different things. Have you heard about the mandate? Have you seen the latest approval ratings? Why are you having a measles outbreak in this century? Don't worry about that. The CDC is going to look into the link between vaccines and autism. You mean the link that several studies have already found to be non-existent? Several studies, schmuddies. That's why we're doing another one. You're going to cut funding for cancer research so that you can focus your resources on trying to corroborate conspiracy theories? I mean, what do you want? Vaccine mandates? Literally no one is pushing for that. But while we're talking about vaccines, I don't want to talk about vaccines. Why did you cancel the FDA's annual meeting to discuss the composition of our next flu vaccine? I mean, less meetings is always better, right? Wrong. You need runway to get these vaccines ready, to cause autism, to prevent unnecessary death. Honestly? Next. Excuse me? I'm bored of this topic. Fine. Are you headed for a recession? Why would you say that? Because your markets are tumbling. Look, we are not going to have a recession. Would you feel better if we called it a period of transition? No, I would not. Well, I can call it whatever I want because free speech. Speaking of what? Free speech? You arrested and are planning to deport a legal resident for participating in pro-Palestine protests? Pro-Hamas protests. No. Pro-Palestine. Are you trying to end up on a list? What list? Nothing. I thought you were in your anti-censorship era. Yeah? So, aren't you worried that this will discourage people from speaking up on issues that matter to them? I'm not worried. I'm hoping. Are you gonna clap for me? Why would I clap? Because we're going to avoid a shutdown of the Department of Education? Oh, no. That's still on the way out. Why? Well, first of all, it's dangerous to have educated people voting. Is it? Yes, it is. And second of all, the Department of Education is racist against white people and sexist against men. And also, parental rights, states' rights, etc. So the VA, what about it? You aren't shutting it down? No, we're just looking to cut like 80,000 jobs there. Didn't you tell people there were gonna be like more jobs under your new regime? And we are working on that. How? We started a trade war. Okay, let's put a pin in that. Is it the national parks? The national parks what? Are they the thing that isn't shutting down? Those aren't shutting down. We're just getting rid of the staff. So you want them open but destroyed? Are you saying you're not gonna clap? I am not going to clap. But we're avoiding a government shutdown. Oh, so they caved. The Democrats? Yeah, because of the implication that there would be no negotiations and that whatever got shut down might never open back up. Exactly. Did you declare war? I don't think so. Then why are you trying to use the Alien Enemies Act? Well, just because we haven't declared war doesn't mean we aren't at war. So you are having a war? We're being invaded. Are you really though? Actually, I'd like to file a complaint. A complaint? Someone should be fired. Someone? Yeah, all the judges who are attempting to disobey the will of the king. The king? The king. The president. Whatever. Except not whatever, because the mission statement, it's all about no kings. It's like the whole thing. I'm sorry, are you trying to get impeached? Do you understand how the whole 3 branches of government thing works? Because I'm sure we went over that during onboarding. Sure, 3 separate but equal branches. Let's just call it 3 co-equal branches. Right, all branches of government are co-equal, but some are more co-equal than others. So you're discussing matters of national security via text now? No, we're using an app. An app? Yeah, like texting, but on an app. You can set the messages to disappear and everything. So you're not keeping the records you're legally obligated to keep? I didn't say that. Yeah, but you didn't not say it. And your vice president thinks that the president's messaging is inconsistent. Are you reading my personal messages? How are you doing that? This isn't a border. No, I'm actually just reading the reporting from the journalist you added to your super secure group chat. Okay. Well, everything is fine, but also I'll look into it. How did your phone call with the autocrat go? You mean our friend? Sure. Yeah, your friend, the autocrat. He wants us all to play hockey together. Okay, but what about the ceasefire of it all? He said he would cease firing on energy places, where they, energy production. But then he kept bombing. He didn't say that he would cease all firing. He kept bombing energy infrastructure, though. No, that wouldn't make sense because he totally respects the new guy. You think so? Did you see? We are finally gonna get rid of the Department of Education. I did see that your executive branch is continuing to try and illegally unravel the work of your legislative branch, yes. I mean, come on, what does the Department of Education even do? It directs funding to the states where your current administration's voters live, for one. For 2, we're getting all of the DEI out of our websites. What? You want to talk about the House Speaker's Chief of Staff's recent DUI? No one wants to talk about that. We're talking about DEI. The DOD is getting rid of the DEI on their internet. You mean you're pretending that Navajo code talkers didn't exist? Who? People are gonna get fired. Okay, good. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but that national security advisor who added a journalist to the war chat has got to go. Who? Michael Waltz. Mike's a great guy. Why would we get rid of him? Because he added a journalist to the super secret war chat, and now everybody knows that the super secret war chats are like not that secure. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Okay. Fine, so then you're getting rid of the Secretary of Defense. Why would we do that? Because he's sending classified information over non-secure channels and isn't checking to make sure that there's like not a journalist in the group chat before he does it. Nothing he said was classified. You don't consider when we're planning on dropping bombs to be classified information? Your mom is classified information, so. But seriously, you're not firing anyone on the chain where they sent state secrets to a journalist and set information that legally has to be recorded to disappear? Why are you always trying to ruin the careers of promising young men who have their whole lives ahead of them? And by promising young men, do you mean aging alcoholics? No, I do not mean that. And you're not worried about how this makes us look to the competition? How does it make us look? Vulnerable? Disorganized? Hubristic? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Can we move on? Fine. Are you gonna fire the unelected billionaire who's rooting around in your coffers, canceling crucial services and extracting contracts for himself? You know, Elon doesn't even need this. He's doing us a favor. Great, so then he won't mind when you fire him. We're not gonna fire him. Then who is getting fired? Health and Human Services. Oh, you mean the defunct Kennedy stoking vaccine paranoia during a measles outbreak? No, like 10,000 other people is the plan. What? Did you hear? There was a day of liberation. We liberated everyone from affordable groceries. No, we're liberating auto workers from their jobs. Are you talking about Stellantis? Because they're pausing production at plants in Canada and Mexico. Okay, we're not Mexico or Canada, but we could be. If we wanted to be, we could be Canada. Canada could be America if we wanted it to be. No. And they're also laying off 900 workers in the United States. Well, that doesn't make sense because the liberation was about products from outside, things made elsewhere. You do understand that lots of things that you make yourself include materials from elsewhere, right? That's the problem that we're fixing. Even if that were a problem, you can't just expect production plants to pop up overnight and natural resources to materialize out of thin air. Hey, that's American air that you're talking about. So you increased taxes on everything because you have American air. First of all, number one, we didn't tax everything. You put a 10% tariff on an island inhabited only by penguins. Right, point two. Second of all, it's tariffs, not taxes. Tariffs are taxes on imports paid for by companies who don't respect America. Companies who pass those costs on to consumers. You know what's super cheap right now? Stocks. So you're welcome. And what about people who don't have disposable income for gambling? How are you doing on the whole 150 bespoke trade deals in 90 days thing? Did you see Katy Perry went to space? I did. Actually, yeah. Why did that happen? Why not? Besides space tourism being an icky display of mega wealth. Besides that, the emissions. This is America. We have the best emissions. We're making emissions great again. Are you gonna put that on a hat? Please don't put that on a hat. Do you hate women? Just myself? Why? Because it sounds like you don't want them to be inspired to try and marry an oligarch. To work in STEM. Katy Perry is a singer. Don't try and steal Gayle King's joy. Okay? Because she won't let you. Does Gayle King work in STEM? That's what she said. She said she works in STEM. No, it's a joke. That's what she said. You just don't get it. I don't think you're using it correctly. That's what she said. Speaking of women, yeah, we can talk about women, unless this is a research grant application. That was not a joke. Okay, let's put a pin in that. First, why are you trying to stop married women from voting? What are you talking about? The SAVE Act. Oh, that would only stop women who are illegal from voting. Wouldn't it require people to have an ID that matches the name on their birth certificate? Doesn't everyone have that? 80% of married women don't have a last name that matches the name on their birth certificate. Then they'll have to present their marriage licenses when they register to vote. It's not a big deal. Are you going to make married men locate their marriage licenses to vote? Because it's not my fault that men don't take their wives' last names, but it's a cultural reality that you might want to consider. Trust me, we've considered it. Also, people can just use a passport. Only like half your population has one of those. I mean, how much does a passport cost? $100? They start at $130. Okay, so not all of your citizens have a spare $130? Oh, that's embarrassing. You're right. You should be embarrassed about that. Me? Embarrassed? I would never. Yeah, I know. But seriously, you're going to disenfranchise millions of voters if you go through with this. By asking them to bring paperwork when they register to vote. By asking them to bring paperwork that a significant number of them don't have and can't easily access to offices that are, in some cases, several hours away from where they live. Bored. What? I'm bored. Let's talk about something else. Okay, well, the only thing left on my agenda is the constitutional crisis of it all. Oh my God. I'm sorry you can't afford to go to space. Get over it. That's not what I'm talking about. What are you talking about? Your executive branch is ignoring rulings from your judicial branch, as is his right. No, it's literally illegal. That's my point. Come on, they'll be boys. Mistakes happen. Illegally imprisoning someone in another country isn't just like a casual mistake. That's what you're talking about? That's fine. That guy is a gang member. Do you have any proof that that's the case? Wow. Are you really saying you can't trust me? Of course I can't trust you. How would I even get him back if I wanted to? Have you tried asking, maybe even telling the government who you're paying $6 million to imprison people to send him back? The customer's always right. You love saying that. You know what we should ask them for? More camps, prisons. We should ask them for more prisons. Why? For the homegrowns. I don't like how that sounds. How does it sound? Like you want to imprison your citizens abroad? And? It's been 100 days. Only 100 days. And we've accomplished so much. It's historical. The most consequential 100 days in the history of days. That's what they're calling it. That's what I'm worried about. Did you hear the cost of eggs is down by 87%? I did not hear that. No, but now that I am hearing it, it sounds like a lie. I am at least 87% sure that you are lying. What makes you think I would lie to you? Do you remember when he said he would end 2 wars on his first day in office? Did he say that? He did, yeah. And the wars, they're still happening. Who told you that? Because, you know, if you are on any signal chats that you shouldn't be on, you don't have to make it a whole thing and write an article about it. You can just remove yourself, okay? Please. I actually wasn't talking about Signal, but now that we are talking about that, have you still not fired anyone? You're fired. Michael Waltz. Michael Waltz, you're fired. You fired Michael Waltz? Yes. He is going to be our new ambassador to the United Nations. I thought you said he was fired. I did. No, but seriously, do you think the Senate will confirm him? Why wouldn't they? Maybe we should circle back to the Signal chat of it all. I don't want to. Okay, we could talk about the markets. I like the frozen foods aisle myself. I was thinking more like stocks, bonds. Well, everybody always wants our bonds. Those are evergreen. Are you sure? Do you want to see like a super cool montage of people being deported? That does not sound super cool. Oh, it is. They shave their heads and everything. You want me to watch you shave the heads of the undocumented people you're deporting increasingly without due process? Undocumented. Yes, they all are. I'm sure they all are. They're undocumented. All of them. Whatever. Did you hear? I'm the Pope. I thought that image was AI. What? The Pope is from Chicago, okay? He might be a woke American, but he's an American. America is Pope. Have you seen his tweet about your vice president? No, but that was just bad timing, okay? JD didn't drain the life from anyone. Are you talking about that meeting? What are you talking about? In his pre-Pope era, the Pope retweeted an article called JD Vance is wrong. You know what? Be polite. Actually, the platform's preferred name is X. Sure, but it was assigned Twitter at birth, so it'll always be Twitter. I don't need this right now. The Pope is a White Sox fan. What's going on at your airports? I mean, Newark is Newark. It's in New Jersey. And the planes that clipped wings on the runway in San Francisco a few days ago? What about them? Why did they touch each other? Ideally, planes, they don't touch. Mistakes happen. Oh, I know, because this also happened a month ago at Reagan Airport. Interesting. Is it safe to fly, though? You know who's gonna get on a flight? The immigrants who we're gonna send to prisons in Libya. The prisons that Amnesty International called horrific, those are the ones. That sounds like it would be in violation of at least one court order. Is Libya even on board? What do you want from me? I can't do 21 million zillion trials. I can't habeas corpus everyone. Maybe we should reopen Alcatraz. We should reopen Alcatraz. Alcatraz is controlled by the National Park Service. Don't worry about that. No one works there anymore. Isn't your Federal Bureau of Prisons experiencing a severe staffing shortage? So you do think we should send people to Libya? That's not what I said. I think now is a good time to raise. I'm gonna raise a bunch of money by cracking down on tax evaders in the robber baron class. Nobody works at the IRS anymore either, but we could tax the rich a little bit, just a little bit if you want to, if somebody else passes it. Are you trying to trick me? Also, we're gonna garnish people's wages. That's more what I was expecting to hear. Not regular people, people who made the mistake of pursuing higher education without coming from money. Are you sure you wanna do that to your economy right now? Our economy is transitioning to greatness right now. Have I explained tariffs to you yet? Oh yeah, several times, actually. And not once have you convinced me that you know how they work. We fixed our plane problem. You fixed the staffing issues at the FAA? No, those were on purpose. We're getting a new plane for Air Force One. Where are you getting that from? Qatar. I'm not sure how you say it. As in a foreign government? I don't think you understand. It's a really cool plane. It's giving Trojan horse. I mean, if they want to throw in a horse, I wouldn't say no to a horse. I'm not stupid. This sounds like an emolument. I think it's a 747. No, as in no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall accept without the consent of Congress any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. What are you trying to say? Your public officials, including your president, aren't allowed to take bribes of any kind from other countries? I don't think you're getting how cool this plane really is. Are you gonna pay a tariff to import it? We're not buying this. It's a present. And you know, if we could get the plane that we need here, trust me, we would love to. But it turns out production is slow and everything is overpriced. That's what small businesses have been saying. What if we told you the plane is going to the Department of Defense? So it's basically a present for the whole country. So everyone's gonna get a ride? That's not what I said. The next president after this one, they'll use it too. The other one that we already ordered should be ready by then. So the Pentagon will keep it? Ew, no, it'll go to his library. Why would the Pentagon keep it? Because it's a gift to them, us, everyone, the nation. Look, it's free. Who turns down a free lunch? That is all that matters right now. It's not free though. Why not? Because of the implications. And also, literally, the Department of Defense is gonna have to completely retrofit it. So you agree it would be stupid not to take it. Not as stupid as it would be to have the President of the United States jetting around in a gift from a king he once accused of terrorism. Okay, fine, we'll let in refugees. You're restoring temporary protected status for Afghans in your country? Ew, why would we do that? Because many of them risked their lives to help you while you were at war in their homeland, which makes it now an unsafe place for them to be. Okay. And what are we trying to get? Do we need something from them now? I guess no. So what are we talking about? You said you're doing something with refugees. Yes, we are. Are you restoring protected status for people from Venezuela? No. Why can't they stay in their own country? Looks fine to me. Didn't you say that it was full of gang members and criminals? Yeah, exactly. Why would we want them here? Who are you letting in? People who are trying to survive a genocide. Palestinians? Whoa, that's not polite to talk about. These people are from Africa, where refugees are supposed to be from. From the Congo? Like the dance? Not a conga line. Well, I'm talking about people, not dancers. I am also talking about people. We're letting in 59 refugees from South Africa. Why? They're being persecuted because they're white. Okay, except that's not happening. Their president didn't even offer our president a plane. Actually, speaking of people from other countries trying to bribe your president, I'd rather not speak about that. Why not? Because it isn't happening. So he didn't host a dinner for guests who spent a collective $150 million on his meme coin. 148 million actually, but that was on his own personal time. He wasn't like presidenting. He wasn't presiding while he was doing that. I heard he stood behind a podium with a presidential seal on it. Circling back on the wars, which wars? The ones he said he would end as soon as, actually, before he got back into office? Right, those wars. What about them? Are they over? That depends on what you mean by over. Are people still dying? Well, as a certain senator would say, we're all gonna die. Every one of us. Your senator who thinks poor people don't need healthcare because of the fact of their mortality. Come on. Next you're gonna say everybody should have healthcare? Is that not the goal? Do you wanna hear some huge news? Why not? I guess, sure. Our guy is gonna meet with China's guy over the phone. They're gonna meet over the phone. They're gonna have a phone call. Shouldn't that have happened weeks ago? Well, it might happen this week. Maybe, probably. It's gonna happen this week. And then you'll be great again. Trick question. We're already great again. We did it. We made it. We're great again. I've got something big and beautiful to show you. Okay, I thought HR told you to stop saying things like that. It's a bill. It's a big, beautiful bill. You mean the one that a bunch of your representatives voted for without reading? They can read. Our legislators can read. Who told you they can't read? I mean, one of your legislators did say in a town hall that he hadn't read or even known about a provision in the bill that would make it harder for courts to enforce their rulings on the constitutionality of actions taken by your executive branch. So he didn't know that that was in the bill, and then he voted in support of the bill. And now that he does know, he wants it out. And another one of them, one of your legislators, she literally posted saying that she hadn't read the part of the bill that prevents states from regulating AI for the next 10 years before she voted yes. And now she wants that part out. Look, I don't know why they didn't read it. We gave them a whole night to read over 1,000 pages. Well, the thing is, you really get out of this country what you put into it. You know what I mean? All right, what are people gonna get out of this bill? Something about taxes. There'll be tax cuts, sort of, kind of, maybe, in theory. In practice, there won't be tax increases, I think. Not even for billionaires, especially not for billionaires. And how are you going to pay for things like Medicaid? We're not going to cut Medicaid. We would never. I do not understand. Immigrants is the thing, really. We need more money because immigrants, to pay for the revenue lost by deporting taxpayers, to pay other countries to hold people that we don't want in our country in their prisons, etc. Did you get judicial to sign off on that? I'm sorry. What are you gonna do? Tell on me? Okay, fine. We'll bring the guy back here, but because we wanted to, not because of anything judicial said, okay? What did judicial say? What did they say? You're arresting elected officials now? Was that senator arrested? I don't really think he was arrested. He was just removed and handcuffed. Oh, I was actually talking about the comptroller/mayoral candidate in New York, but that's right. You are manhandling and arresting elected officials. Is that a problem? I don't see a problem. You don't? Nope. You can't think of any other historical figures who did stuff like this? Look, we're only arresting people, elected officials, whatever, elected officials. We're only arresting elected officials who don't align with the mission. Have you read the mission statement lately? I can read. Why are you asking? Because the mission statement is all about democracy. That's like the whole thing. And this strategy of yours is giving fascism. I'm not a fascist. I could have you arrested for saying that. See, that's what I'm talking about. So, You're going to war? I didn't say I was going to war. Don't be dramatic. I said I bombed Iran, and I could do it again if I wanted to, way harder. I can bomb them way hard anytime I want. Looks like a war. Smells like a war. I'm a peacemaker. I thought you were gonna decide in 2 weeks. Decide what? About dropping bombs? Oh, well, 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 whatever, does it matter? In terms of diplomatic negotiation, it might have. I guess we'll never know. Did he get approval from Congress for this? Why would he do that? Because the Congress shall have the power to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. What's that from? The Constitution? Your Constitution? The president can do whatever he wants as long as he's being presidential, while he does it. The Supreme Court said that. Our Supreme Court. Since when is disregarding the Constitution part of the job? He's not even really going to war. He's just dropping bombs to promote peace. Did you see our parade? The one for your president's birthday? It was for the military's birthday, actually. Sure. Yeah, I saw the expense report. It was such a bargain, right? You think $45 million is a bargain? I mean, if you think of it as a marketing/recruiting expense, it's essentially negligible. $45 million is negligible. And you can't even have your soldiers march in time. Did you see how scary our tanks are? Aren't you scared of our tanks? Am I scared of a fascist-feeling attempt to display power? Yes, I am. Okay, well, it's super necessary. Did you see what's happening in Los Angeles? What? People are eating brunch, having tacos. He doesn't want to be called that. People are walking around with signs and stuff, insurrecting. Do you mean protesting? People are protesting? Don't worry, he sent the National Guard. Who did? Did the governor request them? No, the president. Also the Marines. He sent them too. Have you even read the Constitution? I can read. Everybody knows that. Okay, all these unauthorized internal and external acts of war must be getting pretty expensive, no? Don't worry about it. So then you've definitely figured out Medicaid. What about Medicaid? How to pay for it? I'm just assuming if you have all this money for violence and pomp and circumstance, you must have enough for Medicaid. Sure, yeah, whatever. Except not whatever, because lots of people are gonna need healthcare, especially if you're getting rid of vaccines. No, Robert didn't get rid of vaccines. He just implied over and over again that they are dangerous, and then fired all 17 people on the advisory committee on immunization. Don't you need one of those? Well, he appointed new ones, silly. Okay, and are they vaccine skeptics, if you will? Who's asking? We have to talk about your budget. What about it? Why are you spending so much? Are we? That reconciliation bill you're working on is gonna cost almost $4 trillion. You have to spend money to save money. Everybody says that. Nobody says that. I'm doing everything I can. We're gonna cut $1 trillion from Medicaid. I thought you said you weren't gonna cut Medicaid. Very explicitly. Several times. And in a sense, we're not. Sounds like 12 million people are going to lose coverage if this bill goes through. Would that really be so bad? Most of those people are people who I personally don't think deserve health care anyway. Lots of those people are actually your voters. The election is over. So what, now you don't need rural hospitals anymore? Me? I've never needed a rural hospital. If it's not health care, what are you spending all this money on? Are you expanding SNAP? Since you want people to have more babies? No, we're cutting SNAP. We're snapping away at it. Are you building public infrastructure? Yes, we're building the wall. Like several walls that build housing for people to live in, schools for them to learn in, stuff like that. Like the grandest wall of all time, the Promised Wall along our southern border. I thought you said Mexico was gonna pay for that. That's the other thing. You have to spend money to deport. Everybody says that. Who is everybody? Maybe we should send Doge after Elon. What? Do you want your taxes to go up? We need to get this bill passed by the 4th of July or the tax man will be waiting under your bed on the 5th. Who came up with that deadline? It's the deadline. Everybody knows that. Have you considered taxing your billionaires just like a little bit more? Shh. They might hear you. Jeff is on his honeymoon. He doesn't want to be disturbed. You're going to let millions of people lose health care so that a few people can keep billions of dollars that they'll presumably convert into swimming pools full of gold coins to splash around in. We're cutting corners literally everywhere we can. We're even going to use alligators as prison guards. You have a file you want to show me? No. I do not. Yes, you do. You must. You've been going on about it endlessly. The one with the client list. A list of clients. Yes, Jeffrey's clients. Filing is, at its core, a hoax made up by the Democrats, is the thing. What? Obama. How are you doing on that whole dismantling the deep state thing? That's what she said. We should move on from this. The deep state is somebody nobody cares about. I don't need your support. We should talk about Texas. You mean the flooding? Exactly. Have you even sent your thoughts and prayers today? I have been thinking, yeah, actually, about how this is a perfect example of how dangerous cuts to the National Weather Service are. Whoa, your implication is noted, and it's not appreciated. I'm just trying to be fiscally responsible. Do you not want me to save money? How much are you spending hiring new kidnappers at ICE? So kidnappers it's a derogatory term. Don't use hate speech. How much does it cost every time the boss goes golfing? Is this about Medicaid? Because that's not on the agenda until after the midterms, so shh. You're thinking of letting Ghislaine Maxwell out of prison? It's pronounced Ghislaine, I think. You're trying to get her out of prison? We're not letting her out of prison, but we're also not letting her out of prison. Who knows? I wish the best for her. I mean, she's never been anything but nice to me personally, so why not? Why not let her run free? Why not? Because she's a criminal who spent her life aiding and abetting other criminals. Whatever happened to women supporting women? Are you not a girl's girl? I don't support women who traffic girls, if that's what you're asking. I don't know what you want me to say to that. Why are you guys meeting with her? Like, at all? It's the public. The public needs to be fed. You want to talk about inflation and grocery prices? Inflation is gone. It's dead. It's made up. It's a deep state lizard hoax perpetuated by Joe Biden. It's files that the people want. They demand to feast on legal briefs. Okay. That's why we have to meet with Ghislaine to slake the thirst of the base. Can't you just show them the information you already have? Isn't that what they want to see? For your information, no one has ever been briefed about anything, ever. And it's also none of your business who is briefed about what, when. What about who lies about being briefed? Is that my business? I'm ending this. Actually, we're cutting this session short. Excuse me? Happy vacation. You should go home. I'm going home. What is happening? What's the plan this week? You're gonna tax imports from every country? Or every country you have a trade deficit with? No one said anything about taxes. I'm talking about tariffs. Tariffs are taxes. Taxes that China pays. They're taxes at the point of import, which is here. You're just jealous because I'm about to be rich. I don't think you've thought this through properly. I don't think your mom has thought through you properly. If a country wants to sell things to us, then they should buy things from us of equal to or greater than, more value from us, or else. That just makes sense. There's a lot of nuance missing from everything you just said. You're a nuisance, actually. He wants a Nobel Peace Prize? Yeah, like really badly. He's sort of desperate for it. I guess this could be good. Is he gonna end the genocide in Palestine? The what? Genocide? So we'll agree to disagree. I do not agree. I'm lost. You think he deserves a Nobel? That's what you said? Is he going to do something about the man-made famine in Palestine? Why would that be on him? Because he wants a Nobel Peace Prize? And because during the interview process, he said he was going to end all the wars? That's part of why we hired him. Those kinds of things take time. I know. That's why we were so impressed when he said he could have it done before onboarding. He is impressive, yes. Is he though? Because he's now officially like 2 quarters behind on these deliverables. What do you want him to do about it? Well, he could stop sending a certain someone money to buy war machines. So you want to take this out on Boeing and Lockheed. I just want them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and see if they can make it without government subsidies. We don't subsidize them. You send your buddies cash with the directive to spend it at their popsicle stands. What else would you call that? Diplomacy? Ever heard of it? Speaking of, I saw you rolled out the red carpet for your favorite war criminal. You mean the president of the country formerly known as the Soviet Union? You mean Russia? Whatever. If he did a deal with them Do you think he could get a Nobel Peace Prize for that? Like a peace deal with Ukraine? With a ceasefire and everything? You think it would have to be a peace deal to win a Nobel Peace Prize? Yeah, probably. The word peace is it's kind of in the title. What about, like, I'm just spitballing here, what about like a land deal? You gonna give them part of Alaska? No, definitely probably not that. But maybe some of Ukraine? I think we should be open to that. Did I miss a merger? Since when is Ukraine yours to trade? I don't know. I guess ever since that guy showed up to the White House without a proper suit. Elon Zelensky. Yeah, did you invite him to your red carpet event? We had a separate meeting with him. There can be 2 meetings. Oh yeah. The one the rest of Europe came to babysit. Did you hear we had a big release? You released the Epstein files? No. The Maxwell tapes. What? We got Todd Blanche to interview her about the crimes she's already convicted of. More like about her friends. You mean her co-conspirators? Tomato, potato. Let's call the whole thing off. Doesn't the Deputy Attorney General have better things to do than interview this woman? No. And now we can give everyone what they asked for. Okay, so you are going to release the Epstein files? No. We're releasing tapes of Todd Blanche's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. Literally no one asked for that. I'm actually starting to get kind of scared. Of what? Of political violence. Because your president is deploying the military to occupy cities with mayors he doesn't like. No, I don't live in one of those cities. Because Congress is legislating away access to necessary health care. I'm not sick. Because the Supreme Court just said it's okay for officers to racially profile and kidnap people as they go about their days. Shh. What? It's called the shadow docket for a reason. Well, I think it's officially called an emergency docket. Charlie Kirk was shot. You mean the guy who said, "You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and there isn't a single gun death"? That's nonsense. It's drivel, but I think it's worth it. I think it is worth the cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It's rational. You're not allowed to say that. Excuse me? He died, which is terrible. I don't think that anybody being executed while they're at work is worth it. Acknowledging the views that he publicly espoused before his death is inappropriate and insensitive. Isn't that kind of the best way to honor his legacy? No. He was really all about verbal debate and nonviolent action. So you're gonna work on more comprehensive gun control on his behalf? Ew. He would hate that. We're eliminating the biggest threat to American society as we know it. You finally decided to do something about climate change? What? What's the threat you're talking about? Talk show hosts. Oh, we got Colbert and Kimmel. You got them? Canceled and pulled off the air. What did you think I meant? Nothing. Oh, and did you hear the South Park guys didn't finish their episode in time to make it to air this week? Are you saying you had something to do with that? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything. You're saying that. Okay, let's take a little reset here. Your brand, it's like all about protecting free speech. It's really sort of front and center in the mission statement. I mean, it's mostly about your right to bear witness to my guns. Right above the whole bearing whatever bit, it says that Congress is not allowed to make laws restricting the freedom of speech or of the press. What if the president makes the law? He's not supposed to be doing that. So what you're saying is we should get the head of the FCC out there making threats on podcasts. No, that's not what I'm saying. What? Too late. Did you consult legal on this? Look, I don't know if you've seen the bumper stickers, but freedom isn't free. Are you trying to make this into a military thing? No, it literally isn't free, but we do have a meme coin for sale. So you're trying to solicit bribes for freedom? Well, I mean, if you want to go that route, there are a few super PACs I could hook you up with. Oh, that was an accusation, not an inquiry. You guys are having a civil war? No, I don't think so. Then why is Texas sending their National Guard to invade Illinois? Oh, because Portland is a war zone. Portland, Oregon? Chicago is in Illinois. So Portland and Chicago are being invaded? No, I wouldn't say invaded. I would say we're watching, monitoring, and improving any cities that voted the wrong way by any means necessary. It's giving civil war. Would you feel better if we said there's an insurrection? He's got plenary authority because there's an insurrection. That's why. Plenary authority? I didn't say that. Who said that? Is there another insurrection? Another one? After the first one that he incited 5 years ago? I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. People scaled the walls of your Capitol building and broke in. I have no recollection of that. And if you do, I would strongly advise you to reconsider. Reconsider? This is why we need tighter restrictions on the press. Since when are you suppressing the press? Since Q1, where have you been? Okay, I'm gonna have legal go over the whole freedom of the press thing with you later, I guess. Okay, legal. Is your government still shut down? Not it. Excuse me? It's not my fault. Don't you control all of the branches of government? Honestly, I'm not really willing to discuss this any further until I receive the acquiescence that I require. That's a boundary. I'm setting a boundary. It's cold enough that iguanas are falling out of trees in Florida. Don't worry, we'll issue a warning. Do you think this is some sort of biblical plague? Reptiles descending from the skies? I don't think so. How's that ceasefire holding up? Fine. Did somebody say something? Not to me. No, I was just wondering what the plan is moving forward. Well, there is a plan, and I'm sure he would love to tell it to you in exchange for a Nobel Peace Prize. It's a prize, not a bribe. What's the difference? Well, I guess in this case, it's in the timing. Interesting. Might I offer you a pardon? For what? What do you need a pardon for? We're negotiating here. That's actually another thing we should discuss. Your president isn't supposed to just be handing out pardons to make his friends feel comfortable. The last guy did it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't this guy specifically campaign on being better than the last guy? I'm bored. Wouldn't you rather talk about the government reopening? Honestly, no. I am so tired of talking about all that. I want to talk about your president letting his buddies know that he's got their backs if they want to go ahead and commit election fraud on his behalf. Famously, when the president does it, that means it's not illegal. Actually, sort of famously, a quote that didn't really pan out. You should be talking about veterans. It's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. How do veterans feel about what's happening to the democracy they signed up to defend? I don't know. We like to discourage them from discussing their feelings in any case. There just really isn't the budget for that. Have you brought in HR? Why would we do that? You called a reporter Piggy while telling her to be quiet? You can't even... I could make that up. Was she being loud? Women. You can't call people Piggy while you're at work. Do you have a policy about that? You should. Boys will be boys. He's 79 years old. Men will be men. Ew. Don't you think everybody's already forgotten about this anyway? That doesn't make it okay. Doesn't it though? What about the other reporter who he called a terrible person before threatening to have the FCC take her network's broadcasting license? Was she asking for it? She was asking questions about current events, but was she being a about it? You can't say that. She's not here, is she? Whatever happened to free speech? You keep threatening to take it away from people you don't like. You're not seeing the vision. He needs to go on a performance improvement plan. Sensitive. He threatened to have his colleagues put to death. They were being seditious when they encouraged service members to follow the law. Yes.